everyone, welcome to my channel once again. It's a beautiful sunny day in Southern California, and you guys know I love Porsches, but what do I love more than Porsches? Porsches that are EV in nature. So that being said, look at what I have right here next to me. Yes, it is, well, the NSX behind it, but it is a new Porsche Taycan, formerly known as the Mission E. It is an absolute beautiful four-door sedan that is fully electric, all-wheel drive, north of 700 horsepower, and it's absolutely gorgeous in and out. Now, you guys know I love EVs, right? As I mentioned before, but this is a new take, Porsche's first offering, their first foray into EV technology. And look at these, look at something as simple as this. Right here is a charge port, but guess what? On the other side, there's another charge port. This is so clever. So no matter what side of the vehicle you're on, the orientation is ideal. And this came to us courtesy of Rusnak. So Rusnak, thank you so much for allowing me to do that. So let's start off with something simple. A lot of things that some of the guys who do reviews don't talk about, but let's take a look at this door handle. Look at that. Opened up, see how that initiates itself? And to charge, you just press this door right here. That pops open. You have the standard J1772 charging port, and also underneath it, a nice port for CCS, quick charging, which can allow you to experience full charge, dare I say, in a little bit close to an hour, 80% charge when completely depleted in about 40 minutes. It's amazing. Now, if you use a standard level 2 charger, which on this other side also exists, turn that open. That's also another port, but it's just a standard J1772. With level 2 charging, we saw about 10 hours or so to get it going, which is not bad. Now, here's what's really cool. You can use this beautiful, gorgeous remote to open the rear trunk, or you can press on that button right there, and the magic happens. Look at that. So Porsche is kind enough to provide us a nice charger for the home that plugs into a standard, I would say 120 volt here in the United States. Has lots of space, which you can expect from EV. Underneath here, you have even more compartments, which is a joy. Side compartments too. So very good use of space. Close it back. Now, what's really cool once again is the fact that we exist nowadays in an environment where EVs allow for a renaissance in design. Automotive designers are just going to town and they don't have to worry about things like hood clearance or engine height. It allows them to do wonderful things in packaging. And so this big girl, 5,200 pound plus, does get up and is known as the Taycan turbo model. So this hovers in the 250 range. And you say, wait a minute, an electric car, why turbo? Well, my friends at Porsche do kindly remind us that it's more of a trim for them than a reference to a mechanical whirly thing. Let's go to the front and see what's lurking underneath the front bonnet. So that's opened up. More space. Hey, this can fit a golf bag, I think. Anyway, this is very nice indeed and very cool, very clean. But here is where it really shines. Let's go inside the car. It's kind of warm today, but let's see what's lurking inside. Okay, look at this interior. Very, very attractive, right? And as I sit inside, has a Taycan logo right there. As Americans tend to love cup holders. Also a cup holder from a mask, you know, post-COVID, right? So I'm gonna close this up. Has different settings as well for seats. You can have at least for 3 different drivers to be able to set up what you want for your side mirrors and even your seating position. The screen is actually quite intuitive. It gives you the opportunity to do some wonderful things. It has a different drive modes, which can allow you to do everything from normal to sport. As you turn it clockwise to Sport Plus, and individual. Individual is really cool because you can have the weighted steering wheel of a Sport Plus. You can have the speed that you may see with Sport Plus and the throttle response, but you don't have to have this stiffer suspension. So that's a good gain, right? So I'm gonna go back to Sport Plus. Now, It is very intuitive, the screen. When I'm sitting here in park mode with the electronic brake on, as you can see right there on the denotation, I can look at battery life. So if I press this button here, it shows me I'm at 98% charged. So that's gonna be a nice fun thing. You can also cool or preheat your batteries for some extra performance. Now I can also open up my trunk here if I wanted, the front or the rear electronically, which is pretty nice. So let me exit this menu. But it has a nice haptic. This fan is kind of high. Let me turn this fan down so you can hear me properly. So even when pressing it, it has this haptic feedback that you can feel. Nice music is coming on, very nice interactive screen. And here's what's even more exciting. I'm gonna press this vehicle section there. You can play around with chassis. Even with the chassis itself, I can raise it. So I'm gonna raise it up and we'll look forward. My car is going up, you see that? And I can bring it back down to low, and it even shows on the screen interactively that you're at the lowest setting, which is pretty nice. And I found this very useful going on pretty steep driveways in here in Los Angeles, and in your areas around the world, you may be seeing that as well. Now, here's what's really, really cool. You can play around with recuperation, which is also known as regen. I like to leave my regen on. It doesn't feel unnatural for me to be able to have my braking occur when I let off and also send energy back into the battery. You know, a lot of braking takes heat and friction to remove energy to slow the car down. But if I can recuperate that energy or regenerate it and put it in my battery pack, that helps with range. So I've seen about 250 plus mile range on this if driving normally, but when I have fun, that tends to go down a little bit. Now, here's what's really cool. The electric sports sound. Now, I want us to experience this. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my seatbelt on. And I want you to take a listen to this sound that it makes. And even though it's slightly artificial, it sounds quite appealing. So to put in gear, I'm gonna put my foot here on the brake. And then if I want to go in reverse, I can go to neutral, slightly up, and go to reverse, and then I'll have a nice camera view to show what's behind me. Beautiful NSX. I could also, if I'm back in the park mode, I could go all the way up through a click and go straight to reverse, and go all the way down and go straight to drive. So this has cameras in front and rear. So right there you can see the Bisimoto Porsche K3V right in front of us, right there in the camera system. So now we are ready to go. But as I mentioned earlier, it's a bit of a warm day today in Southern California. So it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit outside. I'm going to go ahead and put some ventilated seats on the highest setting for me, being the driver. And that feels really good. So guys, why don't we go ahead and take a quick drive in this car. And I'm quite illuminated here because it does have a panoramic view up top, which is like a nice little moon roof, panoramic roof, which is nice. And it's also very photosensitive. So what happens is on a hot day, it does tend to tint, and at night it becomes quite clear. So it's pretty cool, right? Nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a drive. Remember I said that we had the sound on? So let's take a listen. Wow, that's kind of Jetson-like, right? Ooh, like kind of Jetson-like. Listen to that. Oh, that is so good. Now, I love to also be able to give you guys a nice view of how it sounds with it off. So I'm gonna go right here behind my friends at TurboSmart, and I'm gonna disable the sound off. Okay, now take a listen now. So all we hear now is a mechanical sound. We don't hear that amplified kind of futuristic sound to it. This is just a natural hum and sound of the electric motor. But it does tend to arouse the senses in having that on. So I'm gonna put it back on. Yeah, that's it. That's really nice. So we're over 500 pound-foot of torque. This thing is very nice. And one thing that the team at Porsche told me is that there's an opportunity to have a nice little boost in power when you utilize the launch control function. So why don't we go ahead and try this function out and see what happens, okay? So I'm in a closed circuit here. This is not a public road. This is in a complex enclosed. Okay, to do this, I already have in Sport Plus mode. My foot's on the brake, but I'm gonna switch my feet while my left is on the brake, and I'm at a full throttle my right foot. And let's see what happens on this dash here. Launch control activated, and I left the brake. Oh, Joe, my good. Guys, okay, I'm gonna try that again so you can see my face. That was 800 volts is the way to go. Most of my builds are in the 400 volt range, but these motors and all-wheel drive with 800 volts is vicious. So, oh, I need to do some reaction videos. I should have totally done that. Okay, so let's, this time I'll have you face me. And I'm gonna try this again, okay? Okay, so hold. Launch control activated. Oh, and you felt that shift? Yes. The Porsche does have, it does have 2 speeds, which is pretty cool. It's like a power glide on steroids. So the beauty of electric motors is the fact that it can give amazing torque at very low RPMs, as close as 1 RPMs in many instances, which is amazing, right? So that being said, it's just fantastic. And for those of you who feel that EVs are not great, they're soulless, that is a myth. This has a lot of soul. As an enthusiast and engineer but enthusiast first, this is a fun car. I mean, I love to go fast. This allows me to do that without the guilt. As you look in the back seats, it has a nice comfortable space for 4, which is good. Are there any qualms I have with the new Taycan Turbo S? I do. I'm not quite used to the button where you turn off the vehicle. So for example, you know, most Porsches tend to have that right there on the left side for a key to go on. But this has almost like a laptop turn on, turn off button, which is interesting. And the back seat here is a bit challenging for someone like myself who's 6 foot tall to get into. So for example, I'm gonna go ahead and put in park. You know, I like shifters like this one. Most of my EVs have shifters, so that's pretty cool to give us that nice feel. But let's take a look at that. And I'm gonna go outside here. Okay, and I'm gonna press this to open all the doors. And I'm gonna walk around and I'm gonna attempt to sit in the back seat of this car. So, that's kind of almost the seating position I had on my side. So let me bring it up and match mine a little bit. So I'm gonna turn this up, match my seating position. Okay, so I'm 6 foot tall, sitting in the front, and I'm mimicking that on the passenger seat, but I am having a bit of a hard time. Okay. Oh, that took a little effort, but I'm there. So as you can see, my knees are touching the back seat, so it's a little challenging for someone of my height back here. If someone's not 6 foot tall, it's quite comfortable. What's really cool is that you even have your own climate menu for the rear seats, including heated seats, which is pretty nice as well. And you have a nice armrest to go on right here. It has cup holders, which you can also make invisible. And you also have this nice little cubby hole here. Nice little turbo insignia, which is a nice little touch. Porsche always does that. Alcantara head room here, or head ceiling, or overhead. And as I go up, you can see I have also quite limited, dare I say, headroom here. So my head is actually, that's it, touching the top of it. So if there's something I can change, it would be that, which is difficult. But you know, once again, this is a lot of car, very beautiful for the amount of money as well. And here's what's really cool, guys. You know, there's a market leader in the EV world with sedans and SUVs, but one thing about that brand is that it doesn't have the build quality and attention to detail that you can get from a Porsche. So this is, even though being electrified, is 100% Porsche, feels Porsche. You can toss around on the track, you can drive comfortably, emissions free, emissions friendly, 0 emissions I should say, and it's just a blast and chock full of technology. And here's something when we talk about technology that you may not find appealing, but I think is a very nice nod, is when you open up this side cubby, and I'm gonna go to the passenger side to give you a nice little gander what I'm speaking of. Close this, passenger door. See this? This is a very simple device that you can see where it says screen faces out. So instead of having USB to charge, you can place your phone there and it can charge your iPhone or your Android device wirelessly. And it's showing insignia right here on the dash showing that you're being charged wirelessly as well. It has some very strange USB ports here, which is not very ubiquitous, but nonetheless, with this very nice charging capability and a seamless integration with telematics and allowing so many different functions with the interactive screen, this is a joy to play around with. Navigation, media, phone settings, charging, climate, devices, service, updates. It has just a myriad of things. So if you're a gearhead and you love looking at instruments, or you're just a tech guy and you love it, it has it for you. Or if you're a simple person and you don't care about any of this, you can still find much appeal in this beautiful interior. Chronograph, nice. Man, this is Porsche through and through. And the sound system, man, it's so nice. Surround sound system with both, which is pretty cool. Porsche has really outdone themselves this time. So, that is my Bisimoto brief review on the new Taycan, formerly Mission E in prototyping stage, right? Kind of like that Mission E name, but the Taycan Turbo S. So thank you once again, Rusnak, for making this happen. You guys continue to influence me and spoil me. And I need to get back to the drawing board on my conversions because this has made me feel really, really, really excited. Take care, everyone. Cheers.